All right, guys, today we're going to talk about how to find the mean absolute deviation. So the mean absolute deviation is how far a number is away from the mean, and it's always going to be positive because it's the absolute value. It's the distance the numbers are away from the mean. So in this case, they're telling us what each of the means are, and if you haven't noticed, this example comes straight from our last choice board. So it says there are 3 data sets, and Jada's mean is 5. So we know that they added up those numbers and then they divided by 6 to get the mean of 5. So to find the mean absolute deviation, I subtract each of the numbers from 5. Okay? So my goal is to figure out how far each of these numbers is away from 5. So 4 is 1 unit away from 5. 1 unit away from 5. 1 unit away from 5. 6 is 1 unit away from 5, 1 unit away from 5, 1 unit away from 5. So then I find the average of the deviation. So I'm going to add them all up. Oops. And I'm going to divide by the number of deviations. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So the MAD is 1. Mean absolute deviation is 1. So let's try this one. This one's going to be a little more difficult. Okay, so I know the mean is 6. So when I added up all the numbers, and I divided by how many numbers there are, so when I added all these numbers up, I got 36. 36 divided by 6 is 6. So now I figure out how far each of these 6 numbers is away from 6. So 4 is 2 units away from 6. 5 is 1 unit. 5 is 1 unit. 6 is 0 units away from 6. 8 is 2 units. 8 is 2 units. So then I'm going to add up the numbers. And divide by how many numbers there are. So 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 0 is 4, 6, 8. So I have 8. And I'm dividing all of that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 0 is a number. So I'm dividing by 6. Okay, so I take out my calculator, and I'm going to do 8 divided by 6 in my calculator. And I get 1.3 repeating. So my mean absolute deviation is 1.3 repeating. All right, last one. So they're telling me the mean in this case is 4. That means when I added those numbers up, I got 24, and I divided by 6. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. So now I have to figure out how many units each of these numbers is away from 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3, 4 minus 1 is 3, 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 2 is 2, 9 minus 4 is 5, 5. Okay, so now I take those numbers and I add them up. And I'm going to divide by 6 because that's how many answers there are. So 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 5. So I get 20. And I'm going to divide by 6 because there are 6 numbers in the data set. So 20 divided by 6 gives me a mean absolute deviation of 3.3 repeating. So what does this tell me about the data? It tells me Jada's data is closest together. So Jada's data is closest together, and I know that because I can see that. I can see that all of those numbers are around 5. The mean absolute deviation tells me Lynn's data is furthest apart, or furthest from the mean. The most variable, has the greatest variability. because that mean absolute deviation is bigger. Okay? So I know that Jada's data is closest together, meaning that it's not as variable. And I know that Lynn's has the greatest variability because the mean absolute deviation is bigger. The bigger the mean absolute deviation, the greater the variability. The lower the mean absolute deviation, the lower the variability.